Right, okay, today I want to take a look at the Neilsen metric ballpoint hex key set or Allen key set, 9-piece, extra long, which is the reason why I picked these up. I was going to pick up some Blue Point or some Neilsen, which are exactly the same keys as each other. They've just got a different brand stamped on them, obviously, and even the packages is the same. It's just got obviously a different insert, cardboard insert. But I saw these ones, and because of the we was impressed with some of the other Neilsen stuff that we did try the other day, I thought I'd pick these up. And obviously I've obviously got some decent normal Allen keys. I've also got a few metric should I say an imperial set, an ick-lined imperial set that I've used for years, one of the folding ones. I don't really use imperial as much as I do around the house and things like that as metric. However, when I was at work, a lot of things was imperial, so just a little, but there weren't many things to use really. It was mainly just putting in grub screws and things like that on gauges and things like that I would have to make. So the fold one seemed to work well enough for that. But I have noticed just by looking at these, I didn't think to see what it was I had some Halfords Professional, the usual good quality metric ones, you know, the usual size ones that look like that, and about that kind of size, or that kind of, you know, the usual ones. But I didn't have none with the ball end. Obviously that lets you use it at an angle, and obviously I didn't have none this long, so I was looking for something like that to throw in there, because I've picked up some a couple of months back. I picked up some T-handle, the newer T-handle type hex keys. I was just looking for something like this, and obviously to add in the garage as well. And they were fairly cheap. They were about £3.50, which was obviously a couple of pounds less than the Blue Spot and Neilsen ones. Now, the Blue Spot and Neilsen ones were like chrome vanadium with it's like a chrome vanadium end. Now, chrome vanadium can be very strong, obviously. We know it on other tools, spanners mainly and things like that, but I don't know, for things like Allen keys or hex keys, they can round out pretty, especially it's the smaller ones you have to watch. They do tend to round or wear after a while, and obviously then they become useless and they just spin when you try and turn the thing, or what you end up having to do is use the long length, which obviously doesn't give you as good leverage as it does that way around. But yeah, I thought I'd chuck a few longer ones in. These ones themselves are, just by looking at them, I can tell they're exactly the same as the Sealy Segan, which I brought up on there. You can tell that they are exactly the same, which everybody knows are a fairly decent brand. So these are obviously manufactured at the same place, and they've just been stamped with Neilsen on them. The actual plastic casing is exactly the same, which we'll look at in a minute when we get it out. Just pull that staple out and open it up. You can tell it's even got the hexagon shape on the injection moulded thing there, which you can see. It's just obviously a different colour, and obviously doesn't have their logo on it. You can see it's exactly the same thing. The same. It's not just a copy, it's just exactly the same. You see this a lot nowadays. you know, it's exactly the same. They're in the same order, in the same place, all exactly the same sizes. It's quite obviously the exact same set, all manufactured at the same place. You've got the same holding hook there at the back as the one on this. It's exactly the same. So we'll get them open and have a look. Right, okay, so we can see now we got them open. Yeah, it's definitely the same as the Seagun, or the Sealy Seagun, because Seagun's just a secondary brand name for Sealy. Everybody knows Sealy make good tools, and the Seagun stuff is fairly decent. So I've got no qualms really already about these being okay, good enough. You can. It's a folding one, so if you had it by the hook hanging up on your wall and you didn't want it like that, I don't really see nothing wrong in folding, hanging it up that way. If you wanted to hang it up that way so you got an access to them like that, you could. Really isn't really much point for the hinge, I don't think, because you can, even if that was solid, you could still get them out. You know, they are, I will say, they are a little greasy. You know, there's a little bit of grease there on the hand off it. That's obviously for, you can see a bit there has come off on the package. That's obviously so they don't get any moisture gets inside this, condensation gets inside this this plastic packaging, and then goes on there. Obviously over time, you don't know how long these might be on display for, or how many years or whatever. That's just to protect against any corrosion forming inside the packet, I would have thought. Obviously you can wipe that off, or you can leave it on in your toolbox, up to you. The number of these are CT 0615. And we'll take a look at the actual. They are a fairly decent length. We got a rule around. We got a standard rule. Yeah, they're about. The biggest one's about 23. It's about 23 centimeters long. So you know, they're fairly long reach. And if you don't want to carry a big set of long T-handle ones around for fairly long hex key work, then these are an ideal set. You can stick them in. You could even stick them in your back pocket and bring them out to wherever you're working. Like I say, it's always the smaller ones that tend to be the problem. You never usually, if you've got a half decent set, I mean, you remember them old ones when they still sell them in discount stores and things like that, them ones on like the key ring, the Allen keys that you'd get like on the key ring, that was like made out of some pig iron or something well, they used to do the job, but the big ones, you never even had a problem with them. It was always it's always the small ones, these ones that always tend to round off the most. I don't know how well we can zoom in on that. Can we zoom in on that? No, it won't quite focus in on the tip on that small one, but the Yeah, she's relatively okay. Obviously the top ones are a normal hex. It's the bottom ones that are ball ended, and even the smallest ones are ball ended. And they do range from 1.5 or 1.5 to 10 millimeters. So just watch my greasing finger. I did Stanley knife the tip of my finger the other day, so it's fairly deep. So don't want to get any grease on that. Bit of a klutz, as they say in America. There's a bit of a klutz, man. And we're joined by Olivia Newton, who's being good here. Yes, hello, Olivia. She's being good. So sometimes you can buy separate. It might be a bit different for the longer type, the ball end. If it's a standard pack, you know, it's usually the smaller ones. Sometimes you can grind. If you've got a grinder, you can just grind them back ever so slightly, and then but you have to watch because it's hard. You've got like the edge that sticks out afterwards a little bit, so you have to try and get that off without obviously rounding it all over again. So that is a possibility when the small ones do wear out, but you can actually now pick them up, decent brands as well, on eBay separately, hex keys. So if you've got a decent set and you just chewed up one, or maybe it's even a higher one because you hit it with a mallet or something trying to get something that was really stuck undone, you can just go online and buy a single Allen key and put it in. I think Proteco of Germany sell them. You do sell single hex keys online, but I think they're just the usual regular size, but they are a good quality hex key to put in as a replacement. Having trouble focusing today, I think. Just going to focus, okay. There we go. So overall, I'm fairly satisfied, especially for the money. Obviously, the one thing you probably will like an Imperial set to match to go with them. I've looked, but I can't see a Neilsen Imperial sized set to match this one. However, there is these Segan ones what we've talked about, and they do an Imperial in them as well. So it'd probably be best to pick up the Sealy ones in Imperial to go with it. And the Sealy ones, although they're exactly the same, are in most cases a little bit more, sometimes twice as much money, just for the Segan stamp on it. Although I did see an Imperial set which I've just ordered to go with these, like we was just talking about then, that was virtually the same price, if not a couple of pence cheaper than these Neilsen ones. So you can find them for around about the same price as the Neilsen ones, so that's not too bad. I probably won't be using these a whole load, because like I said, I've got a lot of Allen keys anyway, the normal type of Allen keys, the folding ones, the T-handle type ones, which I've got power fix ones I picked up the other day, which are exactly the same as Tool Zone and all these other ones that you see, just with their sticker or name stamped on it. Again, exactly the same thing that I see a lot these days in tools, and they're like 3 or 4 times the price as what I paid for the Powerfix ones, which are exactly the same, obviously made in the same factory, come off the same conveyor belt line or whatever, you know, basically off the same shop floor. factory shop floor and they've just been sent out somewhere and they've put their labels and stickers on them, or they've done that in-house and then sent it to their people they've got contracts with. And so we'll probably take a look at them. I just haven't got round because they're in my workshop. I haven't got round to reviewing them yet. So you know, these aren't going to be the only Allen keys that I'll be using. You know, obviously I've been using other Allen keys for a while, but I just didn't have any this length with the ball end. It's that the nice black treated and hardened type that I kind of trust. This type. It's the same as the Halfords professional ones that I've used for a number of years now. Same kind of thing as that. The deep black. You know it's hardened. You know it's going to be fine. Whereas the blue spot and the Neilsen ones, which are exactly the same. They might be perfectly fine. They just come across as to me. I don't know. You never know. I might test a set yet and see, but that they might after a while start to round off a bit, similar to how the chrome vanadium screwdrivers or the Phillips or posi drive chrome vanadium screwdrivers can start to do after a couple of years. They can start to round a bit. I was thinking that, you know, being it's the same material and they're both going to be used in that kind of a situation where, you know, perhaps that might happen down the road. So I'll pick these ones up, like the black hardened steel type that you know is going to work, that's been around for years. The finish is a chamfered finish on them. Look closely there, I don't know. Just about to see the slight chamfer on there. Now I don't know, when it comes to the smaller ones, maybe they've thought, you know, perhaps it's best not to put a chamfer on them. But I mean, there's a tiny chamfer there on the 3. On the 2.5. At the moment it's very slight. On the 2. On the 2 I don't think there's virtually probably not one there, and on the 1.5 there's not one there at all. I mean, I think a lot of the times the normal Allen keys start at 1mm, whereas these and the Seagull ones obviously start at 1.5. But if it's a 9-piece, usually they've all pretty much, most of them are 9-piece. They've pretty much all got exactly the same sizes from manufacturer to manufacturer. You can see that grease now really coming off on my fingers. Look off them. I have to wash my hands now in a minute. Didn't want that on my cut there. There we go. So all in all, for the price, fairly happy with them. Might just need to give them a rub down with a cloth or a kitchen roll or some tissue or something to get the grease off when you first buy them, unless you want to keep it on there so they're protected still in your toolbox. That's up to you. Personally, I'd probably just wipe them down, because for the sake of £3.50, worst comes to the worst, you can, if they do get really corroded, you can always, you know, you can either put up with it, and as long as they still work, or you can just go and buy some more for £3.50 if you really want. I'm fairly happy with them. I know that the Seagan stuff, everyone, you know, oh, Seagan stuff's good, Sealy stuff's good, so they're obviously exactly the same ones. So I'm not having any real you know, problematic thoughts about them down the line. Like I say, they usually, it doesn't matter how good your Allen keys are after a few years of use. The smaller ones do tend to wear after a while. So that's the that's the Neilsen CT0615 extra long ballpoint hex or Allen key set, 9-piece, which is the same as the Sealy-Segan ones. And for the price, it's a fairly nice set. I wouldn't mind, to be honest, buying another set of that price to stick in the garage and keep these in my toolbox. For the price, they seem really quite impressed with them.